everybody, I haven't seen you guys in a while. It's been about 2 months since I posted my last video, and if you read the title, you know that I broke my knee. So I just wanted to make a video talking about my accident and my recovery process. Because as of right now, your boy still can't walk, which really sucks. But I want to start at the beginning, and I hope you guys stick around. And if you like this video, don't forget to like and subscribe. Subscribe if you think that I should be sexiest man alive for the year 2023. People who break their knees are still sexy. On the morning of August 22nd, I was in Manhattan walking to Port Authority to catch my bus home after I had just waited in line to get Broadway tickets for that evening. So when I got to 43rd and 8th Avenue, which is about a block away from Port Authority, I tripped on a curb and my knee gave out and I fell to the ground. And I also had dislocated my left shoulder. But in that moment, I didn't know what was happening. I mean, I knew that I had dislocated my shoulder because I've dislocated my right shoulder many, many times before. But this time, it just caught me so off guard. Since I work in Manhattan, I was just doing something I do every day. I was walking from the area around where I work to Port Authorities. And I really didn't know what was going on. I knew that I couldn't move my leg. I knew that I had dislocated my left shoulder because I had dislocated my right shoulders before, so I knew what that pain was like. When I get injured, and if you know me, you know I get injured all the fucking time, it's usually not in a private setting, but in a setting where I'm not fully out in the public, like on stage or backstage or playing dodgeball. These are the times that I usually hurt myself. So this was a new one, being in the middle of Manhattan, a block away from Times Square. Right in front of the Times Square Chick-fil-A is where I fell. But I was really scared, and I didn't know what to do because I couldn't move. So I was lying on the ground, screaming in pain, and people were just walking past me, staring at me, not helping. One dude stopped, and he was standing there staring at me. He wasn't really asking me if I needed help. He was just saying, hey, just straighten your leg out. Just straighten your leg out. You're fine. Just straighten your leg out. But I couldn't move my leg. Eventually, 2 police officers had come up to me. It was probably about a minute or 2 minutes after I fell. It felt a lot longer than that, but it was probably about a minute or 2 minutes. And instead of helping me, they asked me if I called 911 when I'm lying on the ground with a broken knee and a dislocated shoulder. Of course, they didn't know what my injuries were. They don't even know if I was faking it or not. So, I kind of understand, but at the same time, you guys are 911. I'm injured. You're 911, you're here, help me. I understand that's not how it works, but that's what was going on in my brain. So eventually I had to reach into my own pocket and call 911. So after I had called 911 and given them my exact location, even though the fucking cops were there, they could have done it for me. After I called 911, I'm lying on the ground waiting for the ambulance to show up. So I call my coworker, and I'm very lucky because I work about a block away from where I fell. So I was able to call my coworker, and my coworker was able to meet me where I was and be there for me, so I didn't feel completely alone. Because I just can't express the amount of fear and pain that I was in that moment. When you get injured, it's one thing. It sucks and it's the worst. But when you're lying on the ground in the middle of Manhattan, in literal midtown Manhattan, 1 block away from Hell's Kitchen and 1 block away from Times Square, there's a new fear that evolves inside of you. And I can't explain it, but it's this fear that, yes, I'm obviously being watched by people. I'm lying on the ground screaming, but these people don't know who I am, and they might have gone on to tell their coworkers what they saw or their families. I couldn't stop thinking about that. That's something that still bothers me to this day. Anyway, my coworker gets there and he's great. He gets my girlfriend on the phone, so I'm able to talk to my girlfriend. So she's gonna meet me at the hospital. And if you're new to this channel, my girlfriend Morgan, she's absolutely amazing. So eventually the ambulance does show up, but I am in so much pain that I'm just kind of glazing over. It feels like I'm about to pass out. I don't pass out, thank God. But in the moment, I was kind of wishing that I would, so that if I passed out, I wouldn't remember, or not remember, but I wouldn't have to experience this, because it was just, like I said, I can't explain the amount of pain and fear that I was in that moment. The EMTs show up and they cut my backpack off of me because I was wearing a backpack. And one of them says to me that, if I hadn't caught myself and dislocated my shoulder, because that's what happened when I fell, I caught myself and I popped my shoulder out, that it's very possible that I could have hit my head on the pole that I was leaning up against and passed out or died. And that's a thought that hasn't left my head, is that in this moment, in this freak accident where I just tripped over this curb that I've been walking on for months, and just that thought just kept playing in my head, that I could have died doing something that I do every single day. I walked past this curb every single day. I've walked past this Chick-fil-A every single day. It's really scary to just think that I could have died in that moment. And I'm just really happy I didn't die so that I can monetize my pain in this video for you to watch. Anyway, because I was like on the ground, it wasn't easy for them to get me onto the stretcher, so they had to take these two sides of a metal stretcher and slide them underneath of me. And then I had to lie down with a dislocated shoulder, which if you've ever tried to do, not easy, not fun, but I did it, and they got me into the ambulance, and I was taken to the emergency room where they pumped a shit ton of drugs into my body. I was not off drugs for about a week after that. I was just kept getting pumped full of drugs, drug after drug after drug. They had to pop my shoulder back in, which I've had happen a lot, but this time I was just in so much pain with my leg and my shoulder that I was like, can you guys just knock me out for this? Like, I don't want to experience this pain. So they gave me the medicine. In my memory, I can't say that I've ever been put under for anything before this. So they put me under, they pop my shoulder back in, and then they take a look at my x-rays, they show me my x-rays. Unfortunately, I don't have copies of my x-rays, so I can't show you, but they take my x-rays, they pop my shoulder back in, and then they say that I'm gonna be transferred from the emergency room to the hospital. And I was thinking, great, just a ride in the stretcher down the hallway. Wrong, this is Manhattan, so the hospital is fucking 30 blocks north. So I had to get back in the ambulance with a broken knee and wearing off pain medication and ride from the ER to the hospital, which takes about 30 minutes. So it's 30 minutes of me being in this awful, excruciating pain. I get to the hospital and I get in my bed and I'm in a lot of pain, but something happens that usually doesn't happen to me in hospitals because I hate hospitals. I kind of feel this calm, and it was most definitely the medication that they were pumping into my body now that I think about it. But I felt kind of calm. And they were saying that I'm gonna need to do surgery on my knee, and I've never had surgery before. So I was very scared. And you know, the nurses were being very nice, and they were telling me that it's gonna be fine, and that the surgeon is a very, very good surgeon. I don't have to worry about anything. But what they don't tell me is when my surgery is gonna be. I got injured on a Tuesday. I didn't have my surgery until Thursday. So I was lying in this hospital bed with a broken knee and 2 torn ligaments for 2 days. And I don't remember a lot of it because I was on such heavy drugs. I remember being in a lot of pain, and I remember some paperwork, but I don't remember a lot of the specifics. I remember my girlfriend being there. I remember my girlfriend's mom being there. I remember my mom being there. But other than that, everything is just kind of, it all blends into one day. Eventually, the day of my surgery, they take me to this room to prep me for the surgery. And I am absolutely terrified. There's like nothing I can do to calm myself down. My anxiety is through the roof. It's at an almost all-time high. And I think a lot of it had to do with the medication, but I mean, also maybe not, because I was going into surgery, which I've never done before. So they prep me for surgery, and then they take me into the room where I'm going to be getting the surgery. And I get to the surgery room, and it's just completely white, and everything is made out of metal, and everything is cold. And of course it's going to be like that. Like, that's what you need for a room where you're going to be performing surgery. Bright lights, surfaces that are easy to clean, etc. It filled me with this brutal anxiety and worries of like, what if I wake up during my surgery? Like, I knew it wasn't going to happen. I knew it wasn't, but I couldn't get the fucking thought out of my head that I'm gonna wake up in the middle of the surgery. I can't remember if they put the medicine through my IV or they put a mask on me. Anyway, I take the medicine, and about 10 seconds later, I'm out. And what feels like almost instantly, I wake up very groggy. I didn't know what the fuck was happening, what the fuck was going on. I remember thinking, is it done? Was that it? I must have said that out loud because the nurse was like, you're all done. Once I'm ready, they take me back to my room, and I sit there for about a week, and I'm sitting in this hospital bed, and they have people coming in to do some rehab with me. So they're getting me up, and they're having me not walk, but use a walker and hop to destinations. And it was so exhausting. Like, every single movement I would make was exhausting, and like, I couldn't use the bathroom by myself, and it was absolutely humiliating and disgusting. And it just makes me so depressed thinking that I literally, something I do every day, I couldn't do by myself anymore. And it was like that all throughout the hospital stay. Everybody at the hospital was very, very kind, very nice, except for one nurse I had who was fucking mean to me, which I don't understand why I have a broken kneecap and you're worried about your bagel. But it's a stressful job, so I really don't blame her. Like, it's totally fine. I don't care. For a while I was in the hospital, I couldn't use the bathroom. I had no appetite. I didn't want to eat anything. I felt sick constantly, and I really just wanted to die. I remember thinking multiple times that I wish I had just died when I fell. because I wouldn't have to go through this. I couldn't stop saying that I wouldn't wish this on my worst enemy because it was just the most excruciating experience of my entire life. So on Monday the next week, they inform me that I'm going to be moving to a rehabilitation center where I'm going to learn how to do a lot of things by myself again. Not walk, but just learn how to, operate day to day, put my clothes on, get in and out of bed by myself, just and gaining some strength and standing up and having to do things. So I get to this rehabilitation center and my emotions are all over the fucking place. I am crying at the smallest things. I just feel this overwhelming sense of I need to make a change in my life because this happened for a reason. Like I must have done something really bad and this is my punishment for it. And I kept racking my brain. I was like, I can't think of anything that I did that would put me in this position. And then eventually my girlfriend calmed me down and she was like, Connor, you just had a freak accident. You didn't do anything wrong. I couldn't believe that for almost the entirety of my stay in the rehab facility. When I got to the rehab facility, I was pretty optimistic. Everybody seemed fairly nice and like they knew what they were doing. And there was like a nice photo of the ocean on my wall. And I had a window just looking out over suburbia, which for some godforsaken reason I was missing at the time. I was just like, I just want to be back in New Jersey. And I was. The rehab facility was in New Jersey. And I was like, thank God I'm back in New Jersey and I don't have to deal with Manhattan right now. Just a lot calmer of an atmosphere for me to be in at the time. And then I get my food, and the food here was fucking awful. It reminded me a lot of middle school lunch food. Like my high school had pretty decent lunch food, but when I was in middle school, it was just garbage. It was like the worst thing imaginable. And this food was not good. So I had to learn throughout my stay there what to order and what not to order. And sometimes they would completely ignore my order and bring me whatever the fuck they wanted and then say, we didn't get your order. But I was like, you took my order. I know you took my order. I want my chicken tenders. And honestly, the worst part about my stay there was the food. When I went up to the gym for the first time, I had one of the worst anxiety attacks of my entire life. My PT rolled me in the wheelchair. And it was all of these elderly people who had strokes or who had fallen or who just couldn't function anymore by themselves. And it triggered something in me and I was like, I don't want to be here. I do not want to be here. This is the worst thing for me. This isn't going to help me. I feel completely useless. I feel awful. And my PT kind of talked to me and she was like, well, we can arrange the therapy dogs to see you. And I was like, hold up, there are therapy dogs here? That sounds awesome. So I got to, interact with the therapy dogs a few times. And honestly, other than my anxiety attacks and other than the horrible, horrible food, it wasn't that bad. I wasn't fully miserable and I could actually see progress happening. And then I got COVID. I'm sitting in a rehabilitation center, recovering a leg and an arm that I just couldn't use, and I got COVID. So I was stuck in my room for the majority of my stay at this center. I cannot tell you how awful it feels to be stuck in a room and not be able to move and have to call somebody anytime I needed to get to the bathroom or I needed to get into bed or get out of bed or just anything. If I dropped the remote and I couldn't reach it, I had to call somebody and have them come get it. Because I had COVID, nobody came to visit me anymore, which sucked because I'm all alone and now I'm even more alone. The good thing is they gave me medication so that I wouldn't experience any symptoms of COVID, and it worked. I didn't have a single symptom except for a stuffy nose and a sore throat one night, which is why they tested me for COVID. So eventually they decide that I'm ready for discharge. And I don't want to go into too much more detail, but after a week staying there, I got to go home. And luckily with my apartment, I live on the first floor, so there's no stairs for me to get inside. Like I don't have to go up any stairs, but I do have to go down 3 stairs outside. So I had to learn how to hop up and down stairs in order to get in and out of my apartment. My mom picks me up from the rehabilitation center, drives me home, and I'm finally home. I'm with my dog and my cats, and I'm feeling so much better than I have for the past 2 weeks. But then my mom has to take my dog, T-Bone, home to Pennsylvania because it's not safe for him to be around me because he has 3 legs, so he's very clumsy. So if he fell in front of me while I was using my walker, I could trip over him and injure him or myself. So he's still at home with my mom right now. and I miss him more than I can even express. But you know, now I'm home and I'm in physical therapy, so I'm walking now, but just with a walker or crutches. It's not like I'm not fully walking independently. And I was able to go see a Broadway show. I was able to see Merrily We Roll Along. I had bought my tickets early, and I called the theater and I said, hey, I had an accident. Would you be able to switch to a wheelchair seat? And they did, and my girlfriend, being the amazing girlfriend she is, drove me to the theater. She drove through Manhattan, parked, and we got to see the show together. And it was so nice. But I gotta be honest, sitting at home, unable to do anything except for play Skyrim and watch movies, really, really fucking sucks. Like, I couldn't even get up and just walk to the kitchen. I had to push myself up from the couch and get to my walker so that I could get to my wheelchair, so that I could roll myself around the kitchen and get food that I needed. And I couldn't reach the microwave. I couldn't, like, open the oven by myself. Like, I just couldn't do a lot of things because I was limited to this wheelchair. And I just couldn't figure out how to do a lot of them. But right now, I'm doing a lot better, which is why I'm making this video. I wanted to make this video a lot earlier, but I decided that I just needed to give myself time. If there's one thing I learned from this accident, it's that I shouldn't rush, because I have a habit of rushing to do things. And when I rush is when mistakes happen, like tripping on a curb that I pass every day and altering the trajectory of the rest of my year. It's October right now, and October is my favorite month, and it really sucks that I'm unable to experience it the way that I wanted to. When I wanted to go out for even a little bit to like Target or Barnes & Noble just to get out of the house, my girlfriend would have to drag the wheelchair up the stairs and load it into her tiny car just so that I could go out. And it really sucks. And I'm very happy I'm not using my wheelchair to get around anymore. I'm up and I'm using my walker or crutches, like I said. But it still sucks. I'm gonna be real with you guys. This happening to me sucks. It's genuinely just so hard. It's hard to look back and think about what happened, and it's hard to look into the future to see where my recovery is. But every day I'm getting a lot better. I've gotten a lot faster with walking. I'm still incredibly slow, but it still sucks. Because of this accident, I've been out of work for the past 2 months. And because I dislocated my left shoulder and have a history of dislocating my right shoulder, I have to get surgeries on both shoulders by the end of this year. So that's another 2 months of being out of work, pretty much. I'm gonna try my best to get into work as much as possible, but it's hard. It's a lot. But anyway, enough sad stuff. Things are looking good. I didn't script this video. That's probably very obvious to you guys, but I just wanted to come in and talk about what I was feeling in that moment. And if I missed something or left something out, then, you know, oh well. You guys don't need to know every single fucking detail about my accident. I can't believe you're even asking me to make this video in the first place. Not a single person asked me to make this. I just wanted to, because I wanted to let you guys know basically what happened and where I am right now. When I post this, tomorrow is Halloween, and I'm going to have a whole new video for you guys that's not a bummer. It's gonna be a Halloween themed video, and it's gonna be a lot of fun. So I hope you guys enjoy that. Again, I just want to thank everybody for sticking around, watching this video, watching my old videos. It really means a lot. I may not have the biggest audience. Every single person that watches this video makes a difference for me, and it makes me feel great. So if you did watch this video, which I know a lot of people aren't going to, but if you did watch it, thank you. I appreciate that. I also just wanted to say, if you financially want to help me out, which you do not have to do at all, but if you would like to help me pay rent, pay bills, stuff like that, I'm gonna link my Venmo down in the description. Absolutely, you do not have to, but if you do, every little bit helps me get through this difficult time. But yeah, that's where I am right now. I wish I had my x-rays so that I could show you guys exactly what happened. Unfortunately, I don't. I'm happy that I was able to record a video again. I've been editing for Austin Green for a while, so go check out those videos that I've edited. Also, just watch his videos. He's a very good YouTuber. I just wanted to thank my girlfriend and my roommate, Morgan and Ben, for everything that they've done for me. I know it can't be easy living with someone who can't do shit for themselves, so thank you. And also, I didn't want to make this video for you guys to have pity on me. Please don't feel bad for me at all. I'm doing perfectly fine. I just wanted to talk about what happened. I did that. So thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.